it's taught like that in school, in public school. They usually don't show you that. You should write it like that, for an angle. And how you write this, the bottom part is always straight horizontal. And it's this part that goes up some. Okay, so this is straight, and this is at an angle, and then you put a line through there, and that signifies an angle. Okay, so here, we'll say angle M is 100 degrees. Angle R says 50 degrees. Okay, so we know angle M is 100 degrees. Angle R is 50 degrees. So we want to know what is the measure of angle P. So in order to find this, remember we set the angle equal to 180 degrees minus the, the measure of the other two angles. Okay, so we get 180 minus 150. 50 minus 150 degrees, which equals 30 degrees. Okay, so we find that angle P is equal to 30 degrees. So, and this is by using the angle sum principle. So here we say, okay, so we can say that angle M is an obtuse angle. Okay? And angles R and angle P are acute angles. So for right triangles, we're going to talk about the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so the Pythagorean theorem all Right, states that if we have a right triangle, okay, so given if we say the hypotenuse is C, the hypotenuse being the longest side of a right triangle. If we say that, now remember the hypotenuse is always the longest side, it's always the side that opens up to the 90-degree angle. Okay. So we have here the hypotenuse, C squared, or C, and we label the other sides, we say A and B. Okay, now other than the hypotenuse, it doesn't, for any right triangle, it doesn't matter whether you label which side you label A or B, because they're both take the same position in the equation. They're both additives. So here this states that the square of C so the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the square to the squares, or excuse me, to the sum of the squares of the other two legs. Or sides, also called legs. Okay, so for a right triangle, the longest side is the hypotenuse. And the legs, or the other two sides, are called legs. In a right triangle, the legs may or may not be equal. Okay, so this formula here states that, that's just saying the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the square, or the sum of the squares of its other two sides. Okay, so the sides, you can find the lengths by using the triangle theorem attributed to Pythagoras. that the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two legs. And you can use the trig ratios. So if you label in one of these angles